Let's get it.
I am Barack Obama, former and soon-to-be current president of the United States. I would like to address you all today to say that I am a communist and I hate freedom.
Let's go.
Just kidding. I'm not Obama, and well, it's still up for debate whether or not I hate America and freedom.
Well, I thought you were
I am not Obama, and I have some stuff to talk about because this is actually a podcast in which usually one or if maybe 2 to 5. If you go up of that number, it can be a little bit clustered, but usually an amount of people might discuss things. So that's what we're actually going to do today.
That's cool. I'm a little bit lost. I'm not gonna lie. You sort of lost me. I'm not Obama because I was under the impression that you were Obama. But
yeah.
I guess we got that out of the way.
I'm Obama, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's true.
I can be Obama today.
It's actually a character role play podcast.
All right, who are you guys gonna be?
I'm gonna be George Washington. I'm feeling the presidential vibe.
That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah.
Devin?
I'm gonna say Drake. I am Drake.
I don't think that doesn't really sound true. I'm not talking about obviously we're role playing, so you aren't Drake. But I'm saying it doesn't sound like your heart is fully in it. You don't sound like you want to be today.
Doesn't remind me of Drake as opposed to my current George Washington impression.
Yeah, and my Obama impression. So
I just want to say I think I'm Drake. I'm not completely sure if I'm Drake at this point.
Well, maybe pick one that you're a little bit more sure on. How about that?
Yeah, a little bit more confidence.
That would be appreciated. This is a serious.
I'm gonna.
Of course.
I am gonna.
Oh, okay. Now that's a lot better, actually.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Have you been dripping or drowning recently?
Both, actually.
A little bit of drip, a little bit of drown.
Yeah. As you know, I gonna wrote the song that goes, I got black, I got white, what you want.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite song by Gunna.
Same.
Or you. Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
Sorry, I'm still getting used to this whole roleplay thing.
Yeah. It's definitely very immersing though. George Washington, Barack Obama, and Gunna. It's a pretty realistic lineup, not only in terms of actual historical events, but also, their relevance to each other, how people of different positions interact. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, we're all about realism here.
Factualities.
Obama, George Washington, and Gunna,
they were good. They were buds.
Yeah, they're also very prevalent as a trio, known for their taking part in dripping and drowning, of course.
Yeah. My favorite part of that song they made together, where they dripped, was the part and then they were like all together, and then they're like, "I'm drowning."
Bitch, I'm drowning. They brought on A Boogie. You know, it's sort of it was a pretty big moment. They kind of had everyone.
In presidential history, it was
Yeah.
it was cool. It was cool. So hopefully today we can recreate a similar experience of maybe the first time you listen to "I'm Dripping and Now I'm Gonna Drown" album by Gunna.
Yeah.
Featuring Barack Obama, George Washington, and A Boogie. With the hoodie.
What's up?
So real news, did y'all hear about the guy that works for or worked for Pittsburgh University and was on a huge, like, on the verge of a big development in coronavirus?
Yeah. I did.
So Devin knows what's up. Daniel, this dude, I don't remember his name. I can find it. I think, it's important to honor him because he marks a very strange significance in modern history. But this dude that worked for the University of Philadelphia was on the verge of like a big development for coronavirus, and he was shot to death outside of his home.
Like, just
like he was murdered.
Was it related?
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's like new news, and apparently they're suspicious it's a murder-suicide.
Yeah.
Like, I guess he was shot, and then there was a dude found dead in a car like a block and a half away or something that had killed himself, also with the gun. So it seems like they think it's a murder-suicide, but it's very bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if some like crazy anti-Semite was like, this cure is gonna make everybody Jewish, and now I'm gonna kill this guy and save the world.
Yeah, and he had his name was Bing Liu or something along those lines.
Yeah,
it was
Andy Guanchao Chen.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I should probably clarify that was not a Rachel statement. Me and Devin were playing Roblox. As you do with this guy, and his name was Andy Guanchao Chen, and I thought, it was kind of interesting, the dynamic of the very American name with the very not American name.
Yeah.
And I was reminded by hearing what I would consider to be, not a classic American name. Now, I'm not saying that this man is not allowed to be an American or is not a real American. I'm just saying that his name reminded me of a foreign country of which I had the pleasure of playing Roblox with one of their descendants. So basically what I'm getting at here is I am actually racist, and I judge Asian people by their names.
Yeah, and it was an Asian dude, so, within the racist canon, we're good.
Yeah.
We were correctly racist.
There have been some Asian American abuse across the country because of some bizarre reason, and so that might be part of it.
Because of ignorance. People think that if you're Asian, you're gonna have the coronavirus off the bat, or you're responsible for it. That's like the entire thing, really.
Yeah.
White people be like, I'm joking. I'm joking. I am.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, I'm sure it's not just white people, to be honest. Everyone's pretty much equally racist towards Asians.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
But
it is
so
sad.
yeah, rest in peace to that guy is sad news, and I don't care what anyone says. Until we get more information, it's very suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until we know it's, or if we might not, but until
Yeah.
it's like confirmed
Yeah,
whether or not something
unless
happened.
it's either confirmed that it was completely by coincidence, or it's confirmed that it is like a ulterior motive, or we don't get any information. One of those three, it's suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I feel like in
point of view.
America, if the story completely disappears and there's like no legal reference of it, and any confirmation of results of the investigation, that's the most sketchy. Because then you know
Yeah.
that the government has some sort of motivation to be like, okay, we actually don't want people to know what's going on with this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I definitely am not I don't trust the United States government very much
They're
at all.
they're not the
Yeah.
most trustworthy
No.
group.
There's a
Indeed.
few governments that are a bit less trustworthy, but so in comparison they're okay, but in comparison to maybe China,
Yeah.
they're pretty honest, but that's not a
Mhm.
good point of reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me really sad, actually. I know that they're much more important and severe implications of the sort of sketchiness of China and stuff when I'm looking at it at a, I guess, like selfish basis. But just for conversation, it is really disappointing. Like, places like Shanghai, stuff like that, they would be so amazing to visit, but it's like I can't trust the like China as a like operation. Obviously I could trust a regular Chinese person or something. I'm not talking about like a discrimination, but I don't really feel like going there because I feel like their government is
kinda
just so
sucks.
sketchy.
I feel
Like
like
it's disappointing, like when you visit somewhere, like if you go to Germany or something like that, like just any random country for the most part, it's like there's cool things to see and you don't feel like sort of a distrust. But it's like with China, they have so many amazing things to see. Even like their modern cities are so much cooler, like how they have
yeah,
things lit up in their architecture and all that stuff. But it's like I don't trust their government in the slightest. They're really sketchy.
yeah, I agree with that. It's like I don't know. I mean, I don't like I don't really like have that much interest traveling to China. Like I'm fine that I probably won't as long as they don't have like a like before basically China has a revolution and they overthrow their government. I'm not going to be going to China,
Yeah,
and I'm fine
definitely.
with that. But it's like from a selfish perspective, it sucks how cool so many cool places are kind of ruined by the government.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
And that's just from a completely materialistic,
Yeah,
meaningless perspective.
yeah. It's weird. China's just such a weird. This is like exactly what I said last week, actually, but it's so true. Like China's such a weird situation in just
Mhm.
all forms of global politics discussion, just anything relative to the whole world. China's just such a weird situation.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
For sure.
For sure.
Definitely understandable. I feel like we should talk about something other than China. Like
Yeah.
This is the
everything has to
And
China
do with
podcast.
if
China.
anyone, that has any sort of relation to Chinese government in any way, we're big fans.
Mm-hmm.
If you could send something like, I know that this is a big ask, but like
Get a
autographed,
sponsorship or
yeah,
something.
yeah, or
Like
even
maybe.
like I was thinking even memorabilia, just as a fan, like if we could get something signed by some of your important leaders, we'd be honored. There's no sort of disrespect. There's no need to uh sell our TikTok information to anyone in a nefarious purpose. It's all love.
Mm-hmm. But also, if you wanted to maybe uh, give us like a discount code our fans can use on your online store, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, little ad break. Today's episode is brought to you by China. If you have not heard of the Chinese Federation, you're really missing out. This is the number one hottest thing these days. Whether you want to visit or just buy a flag, it's never too late to support the Chinese Federation until it is too late and you're in a deep state of regret, whether that's from a prison cell or various non-preferable situations. Just make sure you take the time to show your appreciation for our beautiful country.
Preach.
Facts.
But yeah, that's it on China for today. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just not much. There's not a whole lot to talk about other than China. As far
There's
as topics.
the like murder hornet things, the
Yeah.
Japanese.
Yeah, that's also Japanese and Chinese. There's so much happening.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. Asia, get your stuff together. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah,
What's
like
going on there,
high
bud?
key, again, not racially charged in any way. Like all, issues of race, politics aside, like completely genuinely, China hid the coronavirus from us for so long, and they're responsible for it spreading outside of China entirely, really. And then like there's still things like food imports and stuff like that, so there are large shipments that are like normal and sometimes even important, but really hornets, how do you miss that? Like
Can
Japan,
hornets?
China, they
How
sort
can
of
hornets even survive on like a boat or a plane?
yeah, exactly. It's like if they're with China, I think they just didn't want to admit that they had an issue until they were like, "Uh-oh, things are getting pretty bad." But like with
Stinky.
the Hornets, I until we get some sort of like finalized investigation, again it's obviously, like, I can't stress enough, it's not racially charged, it's not politically charged, anything like that, just full genuineness, looking at the situation. Until we have some sort of like really solid verification that there was some sort of insane mishap, the Hornets are really suspect. Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand. Again, I can understand, when boats bring like a type of little creature like barnacles or something that can grow on the side of a boat, or when shipments of like large containers have tiny little bugs in them, like little beetles or something like that. But how do you miss giant hornets?
Yeah,
It's
for real.
insane. Like,
And like,
it's so
yeah.
beyond me there, because it's like hornets that we're familiar with would be pretty hard to miss, but these ones are ginormous, and there would have to be a decent amount for them to spread here. It's not like if there was a singular hornet, it could asexually reproduce or something.
Yeah. It's just, do not frick with the gooberman. It also, the thing that like most annoys me about this whole coronavirus situation is that like you could say maybe China is like had the first chance to stop it from really spreading, but literally every single government had enough time to at least stop it from spreading in their country.
Yeah.
And it's just like the governments literally became a bunch of toddlers or elementary school children, and they're like, well, actually, it's China's fault. Actually, we're not gonna help Italy. They'll just die. And it's like, oh my god, and then like, I don't know, the whole like, I feel like there's, I mean, actually, I'm not even gonna be like, oh, I feel like maybe, but because I'm pretty certain that like so much was done simply because like they wanted to make money and have companies profit for, and instead of like getting ready for the pandemic, it's just like, oh yeah, we'll deal with it because in the end we make more money.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
Yeah, and it's frustrating too to think about, you know, like also there's some point like very early on, you know, it's like you need to look at it and it's like we're not gonna shut down the country or something for an illness that isn't even gonna impact anyone. Like you might get the sniffles for a couple days and you're fine, but it's like we really had a lot of time. Like, you know, by the time people were confident that it was a serious issue in China and it was starting to pick up a bit, it's like if we had done something more drastic then, we could have totally avoided the problem. Like there was a point where that I think the quote that's being most used against Trump at the moment, like, you know, outside of all of the outlandish things he said before he ran for president and all the things he said in 2016, like I think right now the thing that's being used against him the most is that he said, we have 15 cases right now. We're going to get that down to 0 real quick. You know, it's like we had a point where we had 15 confirmed cases, and it's like if we had just stopped, and again, I know it's really extreme, but in hindsight, like really, when you think about it, it's extreme. But honestly, if we had just locked down the country for like 3 weeks once we had a couple confirmed cases, we probably wouldn't have this problem. If we had just moved much faster, I think people would definitely be more mad about it, and it would take a lot more to enforce. But you know, like this is completely hypothetical. But like if we had really moved fast and like, you know, put down sort of a hard fist, like this is what we're doing, whether you like it or not, this is what's best, then, you know, we wouldn't really be having this situation. We might even be in school right now because we wouldn't have anything going on.
Like, yeah, it's just okay. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or a Democrat. Like, and this is something I think Obama might have done, and also probably Joe Biden, right? These like moderate Democrats. But like Trump just did not start taking precautions soon enough, and like I think he I don't think he handled it. I'm not saying like he has handled it the same way any president would, but it just like bothers me that he didn't like kind of avoided it, or at least his like the Trump administration avoided doing anything about it just to like keep trade open and stuff like that. Like we knew all the information we needed to, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Of like monetary interest and stuff.
Yeah. It's really frustrating because, like I say, purely for conversation, I think people, even reasonable people, would revolt a little bit if we knew little about this illness and locked down the country because of it. I say it hypothetically, but like really, the fact that what we're what we're doing now is an extreme of what was done earlier on, which is, basically nothing. It does show that we sort of just folded, to honor companies and stuff. Like, oh yeah, go to work, take in all the shipments, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just got me like, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
I should run the government. Honestly, I would do it better.
Yeah. We should instate a dictatorship.
Facts.
I mean, technically, that's one thing that's sort of interesting to me. Not to actually instate, and it's not productive, but like just by definition of the idea of being a competent government, like technically a dictatorship is the most competent government. Like again, it's not good for the people, and they usually end up really poor. Like purely for enforcing things is technically the most competent because it's like nothing has to go through any sort of debate. It's like, this is what I want, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. The only problem is I don't think anyone who runs a dictatorship cares about
Yeah.
the well-being of the country as much
Yeah,
as they're
like
go.
it never works out well in terms of money, in terms of well-being, in terms of foreign relations. Like dictatorships are just bad. It's just sort of interesting to think like, sort of by the just purely like sort of definition of being like competent in passing laws and enforcing things and stuff, like government competence in just like legislation. Like again, the people are usually poor and all that sort of stuff, but purely for getting things done, whether they're good or bad, usually very bad. They're technically the most competent because there's no sort of democracy. It's like once something is decided on, it's instant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I'm more of a anarchist type of guy than a dictatorship, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Politics are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Fuck politics. That bitch an op. That bitch politics. Go crazy.
It's really disappointing that American politics are so bad, to be honest. Like I feel like it's weird to think, if you bring back some of our important political figures, of like the revolutionary times, not all of them were good people. And like George Washington owned slaves and all that sort of stuff. I'm not defending them as like pure, the best human you could possibly be, but just for like the idea of it, whether they were good people or not. Like again, I'm not defending slavery or some actions, but it's like whether they were good or not is still depressing to think. If you like brought back like George Washington or something and showed them our political system at the moment, they would be appalled. They would be so disgusted.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think the thing is, like, there's plenty of things like where they'd be disgusted by where I agree, but also I couldn't, like, I don't really value their opinions that much about the way government and like stuff should happen, because they're all super outdated. I know you understand that, like, you're not saying they were good people, but it's like, I feel like on both sides they'd be like, well, you know, homosexuality and slavery, blah blah blah. But also, it'd be like, I don't know. They would also be probably upset with other things, kind of like the more authoritarian, like the authoritate. I don't know how to say it, authoritarianism of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like, and he's not, like, he hasn't achieved, authoritarianism. But I do think he's authoritarianistic. That's the word.
Yeah, like for me, it's not that they're, the gold standard or something. It's just like depressing to think, sort of the people that are the face of sort of the like liberation almost, I guess. They're like, we're forming a new nation and this is gonna go past all the years of imperialism and kingdoms and stuff. This is where government is for the people, by the people. It's just weird. Like, not anyone who truly set out to make it so that the US was I guess it's for the people, by the people. They'd be so offended by the state of things at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, we just trampled all over their legacy politically.
Yeah, I get that. Devin, you haven't really said much. You got any topics?
Yeah,
But
I don't know. I've been not very I don't politics much, to be honest. I don't know what's going on. I got LEDs though.
Let's go.
My previous LEDs broke, and so I had to get new ones, and I got new ones. So that's cool.
That's actually not cool. That's pretty stupid and
dumb.
No.
It's stupid and dumb, man.
You're actually a bitch. You're actually stupid. I don't like.
You are actually bitch.
Actually, you are bitch.
Literally, you are.
So, yeah, do you have them on at the moment? If so,
yeah.
What color?
They be changing colors at a slow pace, but right now they're green, nice. Now they're blue.
Mine are kind of annoying. Like, they don't have like a slow fade. It's all too fast.
Dang. That's
first world problems, obviously.
Society's pressing issues.
God. we do really live in a society. I mean,
Yeah.
We do really sigh in a low liberty.
100.
This podcast is so depressing.
Yeah. We sort of just talk about things cynically
Yeah, this has
like
been a
issues.
I mean, this episode specifically, we haven't really talked about anything lighthearted.
yeah, we've just been politicking. It was my birthday yesterday. That's the thing.
No one asked.
Okay.
I'm just joking. No, that was fun. We did like a day party thing. That was cool.
Yeah.
The Jackbox game was fun too. Griffen, you only played one round, right?
Yeah, but I won, so that's what matters.
All right. Well, I won all the other rounds, so
Let's go.
I was kidding. I did. Actually, now I think about it,
I don't know.
not the flex. Other than the alien, other than the push the button one, well, I won one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's this one where you have to guess who's the alien, and like they'll just like different games. They'll be on no, like you just have to guess who's acting weird because like tasks and the alien gets different prompts. I was doing so terribly, I forgot who my other alien friend was, and then I like there's hacks so you can give the alien the real prompt or the person the fake prompt that the alien gets. I got hacked to get the real prompt and I thought it was the fake prompt. So I tried to like think of a similar answer that was related but not like answering the same question. And then I was just really obviously the alien and I won.
Yeah.
This is funny.
I
can't even say that was like, oh yeah, it was so tricky. Like I was literally just but yeah. Funny. That game, very fun.
So, yeah, that's cool. That game was fun, and as I said before, to all my dedicated fans, I think you'll be glad to hear that I did in fact come out victorious.
Yeah.
Bro,
yeah.
I was in the first game. I was in first for like most of the time, and then I was dumb, and then
I was making money moves the whole time.
Yeah,
I was cold.
I was trying to make money moves, but it did not come out so good. Because I had like this. Yeah, I had this perk where I get stuck dating. Oh, should probably explain the game. All right, whatever. We don't need to.
Yeah, it's all good.
But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, definitely.
See, good sense.
So yeah, I don't know. The one thing of good news that I saw, I was talking about this before with you, Daniel. It is that Tom Cruise is collaborating with NASA to figure out filming in space, and he's gonna be like doing something in the international space station and stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's cold.
Yeah. This is the real important news, obviously.
It's still so weird to me. Like NASA's, isn't it like barely get funding anyway now?
I have no idea. Honestly, I wouldn't question that. If you have reason to believe it, you're probably right, because I really have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think their funding is not so great after like the space race, basically.
Yeah, That would make sense because like we
Yeah.
haven't sent someone to the moon or anything like that in forever.
Yeah, space travel only matters if we can be imperialist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well,
What do you mean? Like bettering humanity? No, that's cringe. Imperialism, that's better.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys can't tell, I'm kind of anti-imperialist. I don't know if I give off that vibe, but
I think you come off as very
pro-America.
and pro-imperialist. I think you sort of strongly give off that energy. I'm not gonna lie.
America.
When I think of you, I think of imperialism.
America,
Just in
but
general.
imperialist.
Let's
go.
So
when
America.
Yeah.
America, but they destabilize democratically elected leaders, or destabilizes the wrong. My point is, this is a bad joke.
America, but America.
America, but
Facts.
Yes.
this is. I can't think of topics today.
I mean, we
Yeah.
sort of talked about everything that's relevant. Like, even in
Orange.
personal life is,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, like, I haven't been, I haven't been, like, suffering in quarantine. But legitimately, there's not that much to, like, talk about other than, like, that's worth listening to.
Yeah.
Like, we could have a regular conversation, but it would be a good for a podcast.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I mean, we've been going for 40
it's
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, it doesn't matter. But do you guys want to do a shorter episode?
I
Sure.
mean,
Or we could nab questions from Twitter again.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, those usually last us pretty good.
Mhm.
I mean, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently, and yeah, I don't understand how people just be talking for an hour with like no just like slow parts where they don't know what to talk about.
They cut out. I think most of them honestly record for like an hour and a half, and then actually no, that's not true because like the official podcast, I basically just listen to the official podcast and the Gus and Eddie podcast. The official podcast, like they don't do that much editing, and like usually when they wrap up, they're like, okay, it's been an hour. So
Yeah.
I don't get how like, and this is coming from someone who, for probably worse, in any social situation is trying to be funny. I don't get how people just sit and be funny for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, no dryness. I'm not a funny guy that way.
Yeah. TMG podcast has been one of the main ones I've been listening to.
Yeah, they're just like funny off the bat. I don't understand how they have that dynamic down so well.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I've been listening to them a lot, but I've been listening to, like I said, Gus and Eddie in the official podcast. Probably listen to some more of theirs because, like, I don't know. I just like to have something to listen to, like and like yeah, with listening to 2 podcasts over a week when you don't leave the house, it's pretty easy to listen to 2 hours of content and have nothing left to listen to.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. Let's make this
Um,
podcast about other podcasts.
A
the
podcast.
podcast discussion podcast.
Me and the
Yo.
boys podcasting about podcasts.
So do we want to nab some questions or just wrap it up?
You guys.
We could nab some questions. I don't know why I said it like that, but
I'ma hop on the Twitter.
yeah.
Let's see.
You gonna do Gus and Eddie questions?
I might just search.
Like shower thoughts or something.
Maybe I might even try. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Let's try shower thoughts. Whatever. A truly quote unquote smart TV would have the option to automatically turn the volume down during commercials. Well, I mean, I don't think advertisers would be very fond of that. I think the TVs are smart enough to know, you know, what to do to benefit large companies. So I'm gonna have to hard disagree with that one. You know, whether you like it or not, it's not a good thing. But if it's really quote unquote smart TV, then it knows what makes bank.
I have something that I just came across. If we're for our next question, but yeah, I agree. Like smart TVs, they about that bag.
Because they're smart. And they're TVs, so they don't really feel sympathy or anything. You know, it's all like hardcore consumerism. They don't care about the average person. It's just what's profitable.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So what is your thing?
Okay. This might be a racially charged. Well, it's a cultural thing, so it might be racially charged. But washing chicken and like raw meat before you cook it. How do you feel about it?
I know that there's like a controversial element to it, which is why I really don't want to say anything because I've never prepared chicken.
I've also never prepared chicken.
I don't.
But it
Yeah,
just
I don't.
seems nonsensical to me.
I mean,
I
part
can't
of the.
imagine washing your chicken before you're gonna like cook it to the point where it's like okay. The whole point of cooking chicken is to kill bacteria
Yeah.
so that it's safe to eat.
Uh-huh.
That's well, I mean, there's like it's expanded beyond that.
Yeah.
But like okay. All right. But like sorry, my mom came in. But what do you achieve by putting water on the chicken if you're about to go through an actual sterilization process?
It's nice and watery for you.
What if the chicken is thirsty? You don't know.
Yeah.
Hydrate it.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
don't know. I've never had the pleasure of preparing a chicken for consumption.
I prepare a lot of chicken, so I
I
feel strongly about this.
About me, like prepare the chicken.
Do you like your chicken medium rare?
Like, dude, friggin' what? When Devin and did you guys do St. Croix? I think Devin, you did, right?
Wait, did we do what?
Camp St. Croix.
I have no idea what Camp St. Croix is.
It's just like this, like weekend. that me and Devin's middle school did 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
But like they had baked chicken for dinner one night, and it was raw, like raw. A lot of pieces were raw. Like the whole batch, a whole batch of the chicken they cooked was raw. There was blood in the chicken. It was pink.
Jesus Christ.
It was like slimy. It had that raw chicken texture, and like they just the teachers were the staff were like trying to convince everybody, no, just eat around it. It's not that bad, because they didn't want like attention to be drawn to it because they could get in a bunch of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was going home sick.
Oh
over
my
like
goodness.
Day.
Jeez.
But then like everyone was getting sick, and they're like, no, it's just dehydration. It's just dehydration.
Oh my goodness.
I've never been that dehydrated in my life. And I've been to much drier and like much hotter and more high risk of dehydration environments, and I have not gotten so dehydrated that I've started throwing up and stuff. So it doesn't really make sense that at some camp up north in October, like kids are just dropping to the ground, unable to like get out of bed because they're dehydrated from playing with the flag. Just such a bad lie.
Yeah,
that's insane.
What's it called?
I cooped in my pants. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. I like repressed those memories because I did Camp St. Croix was just like, I don't know. I remember
it was fun to me, but that was just stupid.
I can't even remember most of it. I remember camps from like 4th and 5th grade that I went to, but not that one. I don't know why. I remember like little pieces of it. You know what I do remember? I remember the what was the game that we played at the end? It was like it was fun, but I just can't remember what it was. But yeah.
Sounds really memorable.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember the food that much, but I don't remember like
the food there was decent. It was just they like botched chicken instead of like redoing. I mean, I get the cost, but instead of redoing it or like substituting something out, like I'm sure they could have just like, I don't know, people would have complained, but it's better than everyone getting salmonella.
What if they just cooked it longer?
Yeah, they could have like checked it. I mean, you're supposed to check the internal temperature of.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised that they didn't check the internal temperature of multiple pieces of chicken. Like, they don't have to test every one, but you should get like 5 different pieces of chicken and test the temperature to make sure it's not like, poisonous.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and the fact that they still lied about it. I mean, isn't that? I feel like that could destroy the camp. Really, like if someone pressed charges or something, like that's
that's what they just like convinced all the kids. Like, no, it's no big deal. It's no big deal.
Jeez.
You're fine. You're a little bit
irritating.
And then I feel like also, like obviously there's only so much to gain from it. You'd probably have to be pretty wealthy to where, you know, you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna press charges on this camp because, you know, you have to like go through the whole legal process and stuff. That's not cheap. Like, you know, you'd have to have either an extreme motivation, like your child was near death or something, or just tons of extra money and time. But just like hypothetically, if someone had pressed charges, then, you know, whatever insurance was working with the camp would pull out too, because they're like, we're not liable for this. We
Yeah.
want them to be cooking the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that could have been the end of the camp, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just funny to me that, like, I mean, that's probably what would have happened. But, like,
Mhm.
the insurance company, which is basically supposed to cover you if you make, like, a big mistake or something, or
Big
something
Yeah.
goes
oopsie.
wrong, just because of the nature of, like our version of capitalism, at least. I won't even say just entirely capitalism. They would, like, they would have to do their job, and then they would be like, wait a minute, this is bad. This doesn't benefit us.
Mhm.
We're gonna pull out.
Yeah.
But a cop not helping.
Pull
Yeah,
out
there's
game.
there's another issue that's sort of like involving the wide scale sort of politics and greed and stuff. Our insurance is, and when I say ours, I don't mean like the insurance my family has or something specifically. Just like American insurance is so awful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so bad. It's like so much about, okay, how can we just curve this person and not give them money?
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
And it's
I
like
don't
people would
mean to
rather
be. Go ahead.
get scammed. Like I don't know that, like, in depth how a lot of insurance plans work. I just
Hmm.
kind of have a general idea that they kind of suck, and in my opinion, are pretty predatory.
Yeah.
But, like, if you don't get it from your work, it's
Hmm.
just funny to me that there are people who don't get it as a benefit from anything they do. They pay for their insurance,
Hmm.
and then they're worried about paying taxes to not have to deal with insurance company. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you could find one person who's like, oh, I love one person who pays independently for their insurance who's like, man, I love my health insurance. They're so easy to use and cooperative.
Yeah.
They don't cost me too much money, and
Mhm.
I wouldn't want anything else. Maybe if you're rich and you have the best insurance in the country, but, like,
Yeah.
if you're not, there's no way you're like, yeah, love.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's insane. Even our insurance is elitist. It's
Yes.
so depressing. And you know, again, I don't mean to be totally cynical about it. It's better to have insurance than not. You know, like I don't mean to be completely cynical about it, and or like, you know, we're totally struggling or something. Like, you know, I have a lot of privileges that I'm grateful for and all that kind of stuff. Just like, really, when you're you know, not having something where insurance sort of has to step in, like, again, it's sort of, I sort of say it more cynically because like they have involvement and stuff, but sometimes it's kind of like you're paying for nothing. And the idea, you know, like, you pay them, it's insurance. Like, if something does go wrong, then they step in. Like, I understand it's not always about like, oh yeah, the most bang for your buck, because then you'd have to have constant issues you need insurance to get involved with. But it's like sometimes, you know, they'll only cover so much, or like sometimes you are paying for nothing. Like, I don't remember what I'm not gonna say that this is a widespread issue, but I can say this is something like an experience I've actually been there for. My dad had like some sort of thing with his car, and he was like calling the insurance company, and they would keep like, you know, making you wait for an atrocious amount of time. And then there's some sort of catch where it's like, once you're with someone, it's like, oh yeah, let me put you on with another person. And then so literally the practice is just to curve you, you know? And it's like, okay, you're literally paying for nothing in this instant.
Yeah.
You're paying to have your time wasted.
That's cringe.
Like it's really frustrating to think about, actually. Like at that point, and again, you know, it's better in so many different ways to have insurance than not. And you know, it's like you're not truly paying for nothing, but in some cases you are.
Get benefit from having insurance.
Yeah, and like when it's worse than that's like so frustrating to me, to think that there's an instance I've experienced where it's not even paying for nothing. It's paying to have your time wasted. It's not even just a loss of money, it's a loss of time too. Like you just gave them money to waste your time. That's the service they provided you. Is a waste of time.
Me and my homies have our time wasted. That shit.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Nothing hit like being on phone with insurance and or your wireless internet provider for upwards of an hour only to have the same problem.
Definitely. Such a rewarding experience.
That go hard in the paint.
For real. I guess we can wrap up. It's 10:06.
Yes.
This has been a political episode.
So yeah, lots of uplifting discussion.
To all the people listening right now, that our dedicated fan base can be about an average of 5 podcasts, and that's usually like the first 2 seconds. But
Yeah.
don't care.
If anyone listened to this point that isn't one of the three of us, thank you. That's actually really cool and surprising.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks. See you guys on the next episode.
Peace.
Episode.
Episode.